Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to the House of Fun. Welcome to another live stream. How are we doing? There is a storm raging outside. But by the power of the 21st century, we are riding our bike inside. How lovely. Oh, not at all, James. Not at all. You should have said something. Most people don't even think about it. They just they just come right over. Oh. All right, we got a long one today. The Zwift Gran Fondo 2022. I haven't done this route. So I haven't done this race route since January the 1st, 2022. That's a long time ago. But we're back. And I'm excited today. I am looking forward to this one. I hope you are too. Here's a fellow backpedal jersey. Alex, how you doing? Oh, there's Noel too. Hope you have a good ride today, Phil. Well, there's lots of company on the road at least. Don't forget you could be out there right now. On your own. Nice one, Fraser. Awesome. Oh yeah, I feel you, Emma. I feel you. Last night I woke up in the middle of the night and I could hear the wind, and then I struggled to get back to sleep. It's no joke. But How do I keep my power so smooth? Well, the truth is that I'm using a really low trainer difficulty. So, like if you set your trainer difficulty to something like 25%, then that can really help smooth the graph out. It just basically allows you to focus on like that same resistance, and you don't have to keep changing gear. Oh, Ben's here too. I was gonna say, this is like the ideal replacement for a lot of people on the west coast of the UK for sure today. Ah, crikey, of course, Emma. Yeah, you're up in the area of where Storm Bert affected the I hope it's not well, I hope it's not too bad now. So we've got a nutrition plan during this event. I'm going to use it to keep my body used to taking on board lots of carbs, given that this will be 2 to 2.5 hours long. So I've got 2 30-gram carb gels, I've got 1 50-gram carb gel, I've got 60 grams of carbs in my bottle, I've got 2 bottles. So I'm going to try and get 110 plus grams in. Or 100 grams. Wait, my maths. 60, 70, 80, 90. That's 90 grams. But I'm probably going to have one of these gels now. So we're already on a no. Looking at the profile, actually, I'll have it on the after the first KOM, which is coming up really soon. So I'm going to get eating quite quickly, quite early. Yeah, I use time. I mean, time is the simplest metric, right? I've got my my workload at the top left there. You can see the calories. But that's really to more inform me of kind of just out of interest when we get to the final climb, which is about a 15-minute effort. We'll probably be about 1,500 calories deep by that point. So it'll be quite a lot of hard racing in such a short space of time. Ooh, the hang tack sticks. What do you mean of tang fast sticks? Hey, good morning, Niels. Thank you, Ruben. Did I see you? Did I see your name here? Okay. These are good nails. Well, apart from the weather. No, I'm okay, thank you. I'm okay. Hope the same with you as well. Okay, we're going this way. It'll all come back to me now. Nice little gradual downhill section here. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, self-employed. That is essentially what I am, yeah. I don't race for any professional team. I used to, of course, but at UCI level, but not anymore. Oh no. Oh. Sorry to hear that, Nils. I feel like heavy rainfall and flooding has been the theme for lots of parts of the world last couple of months. Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah, UCI grandfathers. But I suppose anybody can enter them, can't they? I know what you're saying, but yeah. Oh, Phil, you spend too much time on Zwift. Yeah, that's it, Rob. 60 grams in that one. 60 grams in this one on the bike, so it's 2 bottles. And I've got about 3 or 4 gels here. So that should see me for 2 hours. And then hopefully by then we'll have hit the last climb, so I mean, I won't be eating or drinking on that climb. I really need to get used to, I mean, this is why I love doing the big races like this, because getting used to riding in a big group and doing less power is something that is a bit of an art. Alright, first climb coming up. that's going to come back together, I hope. Oh, little split. Oh. Yeah, there's some really big names in this event. One that maybe might fly under the radar in terms of Zwifting is Andy Cunningham, who's one of the best hill climbers in the UK. Yes, and you, of course, Phil. Present company accepted, of course, but I've got to keep up with the group. You've got to keep up with the group at this point because there's a big portion coming up that's going to be a bit easier. So, it's obviously worth trying to stay as high placing as possible. And then what happens then is when you get towards the end of the race, that's when you start to think about how many matches you burnt, what pace is sustainable for you on the climbs, and then not going and blowing up. That's the key. But early on, it's just about following. Yes, Purple Cow. It ends on the radio, the epic KOM, but the reverse way. So the way we've just gone up, up there again, but then obviously keep going. Is knowing when you're going to blow a previous experience or feeling. It's definitely both, you know, obviously, you know, with the development of power meters now, you know, you should know at what point you're capable of doing a certain range of power, and you know, after a certain amount of calories burnt as well, because your fresh power is going to be different to fatigue power. So lots of factors play into it, and like knowing your body well enough that, you know, you can sense it coming, and you know, that's a really important part of it as well. I think when you're near your limit, it is sometimes more of a feeling than looking at what the power numbers are saying, because you know, you can be on a good day or a bad day. You know, for sure the pro riders, they know their bodies really well, and they'll know, you know, where they're at or what they've got left. Right, little obstacle here to get over. Here's a good example of just sliding through the group a little bit. Starting near the front and then sliding backwards. If you know it's not going to split up, here's the summit. Oh. There we go, that's one gel down. Chance to put into a slightly harder gear. Just get out the saddle and stretch a little bit. But also a lower cadence can also help bring heart rate down. It's not something I recommend you do all the time, but certainly from time to time it can really help. Especially in a period like this where you really want to get your heart rate down quick and get recovering as quick as possible. Because over an event as long as this, you know, you really help yourself to save energy, because it's not just about the person who could do the most power at the end, of course, it's also the freshest person to a certain extent too. yeah, loops back. Go to the end round the roundabout. Stein Anderson encouraging an attack. Yes, exactly. 73, 73 kilometers solo, no problem. Just call me Pogached. Oh well, I appreciate the compliment. We'll see. We'll save a little bit. We'll save a little bit. Yeah, Sandy Cunningham attacked again. Is that your strength? Like the final 2-minute effort? Nah, Ruben, he's legit. He's legit. Unless it was a joke. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think I've done a hill climb. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I haven't done a hill climb against Andy Cunningham apart from the British Hill Climb Championships. That's the only time. Oh, I meant in real life. I'm pretty sure I've raced against him on Zwift. I also know that on Zwift he's done a couple of good training sessions and rides over 2+ hours, where he's averaged well over 300 watts. So obviously him being in a breakaway is not a bad move. Oh wow, I didn't know you could use the coffee stop feature. I should attack, and then when I get across, I should use the coffee stop. Oh, it's eased up now. Oh. Have to do a bit more work on that one. The important thing is I'm still doing less work than the people who are attacking, so I'm also struggling to recover a little bit, so like the next two climbs particularly are gonna, anyone who's been going over their FTP following moves will hopefully be a little bit more tired. All I gotta do is follow, just stay in the top 20 or so, just follow, careful of any splits. If I find myself naturally off the front, so be it. That's my second gel down. Nearly finished my first bottle. So I'll be 120 grams of carbs in this first hour. Hopefully giving myself a bit of a buffer, setting me up for a good second hour. I feel like the desert's quite hard because you haven't got any real like descent or easy periods. You know, there's always someone trying to get in a breakaway or, you know, keep the race alive. And you know, it isn't until we get to some of the hills now it becomes a lot more simple. You just ride the hills and kind of recover in between. Depends how much energy you've saved, Phil. I think what I meant by simple was it's like the format of the race is somewhat predictable. Like you're going up a climb, it's going to be reasonably hard, and then you've got a descent. So What do I do with gels? I usually put them on the floor. What do you mean when I'm out cycling? Sometimes I stuff them under my saddle. I'm pretty sure Andy Cunningham's just here for a workout today. Just riding on the front to 5 watts per kilo for 2 hours. Maybe you could use a handlebar bag for myself. Or take a little plastic bag with you, like a little sandwich bag, and put them in there when you finish with them. And then it'll stop the gel from obviously getting outside the back, although that's more plastic then, isn't it? But it's the Epic KOM reverse. See you later. Let's recover a bit, don't you? Oh. Alright, so we've got the Watopia KOM, the super short one, which is about 1.5 to 2 minutes up the corkscrew. And then we've got now we're heading back there to Titans Grove, through the undulating grove of Titans, and then back towards the volcano, through the volcano, up to the top, which that will inevitably be hard now. So actually I think gradually things will get harder. So this has been the easiest portion of the race, I'm sorry to say. And saving matches is important, because we've got this climb, then we've got Titans Grove, which is not going to be easy at all. It's going to be fairly variable power, but also quite hard. And Volcano will erupt. But it's okay, as long as you saved a bit of energy, fueled, not like try to follow the group without having to do much. Like, it's funny, one person I haven't seen a lot and I actually didn't realise was still here is Alex Whitmore, riding for Backpedal, who is behind me in the group. But that's a good sign. I haven't seen him for ages, so he's just been surfing obviously at the back, and I actually didn't think he was still here. Not based on ability by any means, but just because I hadn't seen him. And it's quite a small group too, so what have we got? 35, 40 riders. There's Harry Chamberlain there, who's a local lad to me. Another rider who I haven't seen. Now this is somewhere where breakaway could go, just before the climb. So I've just got to be careful. Right, yeah, it is. It is technically a group ride. Luke Barfoot there from Wahoo is another rider I haven't seen much of. Saving energy. Let's see how many make it over this. Oh, that was a classic example of until it goes negative. Oh. Thirty riders in this group. Oh no, I can see Phil. I wonder what your normalized power has been, Phil, for that first hour. If it's been close to FTP. Oh. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're not training for this, as we say. So this is what I mean about, you know, when you get into the hills, it feels like it's a bit easier because you've got obvious places where the race heats up, and then like on the descent, you know, you got a chance just to recover. Okay, so moving on to our second bottle. Done 44k, we're nearly halfway through. This has been a very fast race. $900 calories in the first hour. That's a lot of work. Yeah, if we keep that up, it's going to be over 2,000, nearly 2,000 by the time we get to the bottom of the last climb. And that's a decent amount of work there. Okay, off the Titans we go. How are we doing, chat? Thanks for tuning in today. If you're in the UK, I hope the weather's not hitting you too hard. In fact, I see Northern Europe actually has also taken a battering, so I hope everyone's alright. Love it. I missed an opportunity there. Could not get across. Bar time on the map. And really I should have been following rather than trying to bridge. The only downside of waiting for the volcano is that the gap will be too big. And that group is too strong. And as this group gets smaller, we've got less of a chance of going back. Gotta be careful I don't go too far deep, because it's a tough bit here. I just spent a big match. Don't panic, don't panic. Why is it so hot in here? That's probably why it's so hot.
Oh, I've missed that breakaway and it's gone. And virtually every strong rider's in there. Don't think that's coming back, guys. To be honest, I'm probably not strong enough to be in it anyway. Well, we wouldn't know unless I was there. Alright, chat, I'm going to need your support now if this is going to be salvageable. Not losing out hope, the gap is growing, but gotta give it my best, whatever that may be. Got no power-ups here, so I'm gonna have to do this raw. I'm running quite a low training difficulty, about 25%. The elite races are minimum 50%. Well, count yourself lucky, Fraser. That's the problem. If you see it go and you don't respond to it, then you got no one but yourself to blame. That's exactly what's happening to me right now. Because, yeah, it's a situation now that is very hard to come back from. It's like being in a, Paris-Roubaix or Tour of Flanders, and you're out of teammates. There's no one left. It's Van der Poel, Wout van Aert, and Mans Pedersen, and they've all gone up the road, and you're the only rider now in your team. Well, I don't say in my team, but I'm just using a one-day classic as an example. Like, there's a situation now where it's very difficult to salvage. You're on the back foot. There's nothing really you can do other than go on the offensive and throw everything at it, with a massive risk, of course, of blowing up. Oh, nice one, Alex. Well done, buddy. Superb. Okay, so it looks like the front group are just being pulled along by Cunningham still. So he's riding at 5 lap watts per kilo, and to get across you need to obviously be doing more. Come back, Ruben. Come back. I can't believe I missed it. I made the decision to chase after it, but it was too late and it was in the wrong place because it was too fast. And then the group behind was like quite close to me, like 5 seconds. I then got halfway across and then I couldn't get across. I'm really annoyed. Really disappointed at that. Because this is just, I know if I stay in this group, I don't think we will come back. There's only one way to do it. Sorry, Lawrence. I can't hold the wheel if you're riding at 6 watts per kilo. I can't recover to give a pull. How is Cunningham still pulling? How is that possible? Unbelievable. Really struggling, yeah. Fair play. It's only one rider doing it. We've lost 10 seconds. We are going backwards. I'm pulling the pin on that. I'm not going to keep chasing if the gap's going out. It's a suicide mission. I'll try and save something. The group is still massive behind, even if they are losing time. Hard decision to make, but it's a long way to put myself in a hole there. Oh wow, it's so easy in this group. 2-3 watts per kilo. Oh, that's much better. Use normal power-ups. What do you think, chap? The situation we're in now. We're on DEFCON 1? Or is it 4? Which way does the number go? I don't know. Oh, my legs. They're feeling it now after that push. Part of my competitive brain still wants to be at the front of the race, but my body's like, come on, let's go. And my brain is like, it's not coming back. It's over. Nothing you can do. It was your own fault you missed it. Has the stream crashed? There we are then. We are at DEFCON 1. Well, let's play a game and stream. Let's guess our finishing time. 24 kilometers to go. 1 hour 35 on the clock. Got a good climb to the finish, probably 15 minutes long. I'd say we've got about 15k until we get there. Well, 18k maybe. No, they won't need to fight because they've got one rider just pulling the whole group for them. Andy Cunningham's just on a mission, just riding at the front. So the pace is never going to relent. It's just going to be constantly 5 to 5.5 watts per kilo the whole time. So that's why it's impossible to close it. If they were riding together, and if they were sort of looking at each other and like starting to figure out who's going to put in less work than someone else, that's when they could come back. But because they got one rider fully committed, that's irrelevant. So it's a bit of a shame the way that affects our situation back here, because it essentially seals our fate. In other words, we can't do anything about it. Yeah, that one rider won't blow up. Let's just check in again with that front group. Jump forward. There they go. So Lawrence has now got a 35-second gap. Oh, we can't check up with... We can't get to the front, they're too far ahead. So the rider I was with, that I stopped riding with, has got a 35-second gap now on our group. But yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't want to put myself in a position of fatigue riding the whole last 30 kilometers unless I was in that front group. So in this situation now, it's probably just as boring as it is for you guys. Well, and it's actually quite boring for me too, is to just wait now. But most races end up being like that, where you end up waiting. But it is a patience game. Okay, here we go. The climb is coming to the volcano. 20 kilometers to go. There's 46 seconds to the rider who I dropped off of. Lawrence, you're putting in a fantastic ride there. How's things going on the volcano, Ruben? Oh my word, 3 minutes nearly. 2.5 minutes. Wow. To the front group. Actually, I believe I'd be dropped from that front group on the volcano. I don't have the legs for that. That is humbling. Well done, everyone. Oh, my legs. I think maybe that test on Thursday night is still there. First week of back training, and I'm tired. I feel it now. I feel it. It's part of growth. Looking forward to this descent. Yeah. I don't know if not being strong enough is an excuse. It's fairly legit. tiredness is obviously not an excuse then. I appreciate that. Oh. I think I was the front group there, was it? Oh, they're not too far ahead. Maybe 7 minutes. Still bridgeable. In a few months' time. I generally don't do recovery rides. Yes. Because the truth behind a recovery ride is that you should always feel better after it than before it, so it has to be easy enough. But to be honest, most people aren't capable of doing a proper recovery ride, so it's easy to just take a day off. Proper recovery ride, I know some coaches prescribe literally people staying in the same gear, in their easiest gear, and trying to aim for less than 100 watts average. Yeah, this isn't a recovery ride. Alright, only 15k to go now. Let's hope for some good legs on the epic. Because I feel like I've given you a really poor excuse for a race stream. I'll make it worth your while watching the last 15 minutes. No excuses. There's definitely no excuses because I blame myself for missing the breakaway. That's not an excuse. I wasn't there when I needed to be there, and then when I tried to bridge, it was the wrong place to go. And also, I'm just not strong enough to make an effort to bridge like that. So my brain was like, yeah, okay, we can do it. And my body just is not capable of doing it right now. Which is acceptable when you put it into context, but that won't stop us from having a good stab at the end here, even if things are long gone. Because you've got to set an example, and we've got to keep it going. How long have I had my factor bike? I've had it for since 2022, beginning of 2022. Yeah, I could definitely close 5 minutes. Could probably close more like 8 minutes. You know, if I just press this button down here. Trigger warning. Oh. No idea yet, Gareth. Not spoken. I do feel like that's something I talk about a lot, but I don't know if... Don't know. Talk about like not being in top shape all year round, like... But anyway. Yeah, I don't know what my goal on it next year. Don't know. I'll do SK1. Said virtually everyone. Chase the sheep. Okay, I'll try and get a head start before we get to this last climb. Only if it's possible, though. I mean, if the gap doesn't open, then I won't bother. But Yeah, seen that, MS. I don't see why not, Gareth, no. Yeah, good show, Ben, but we're not teammates today. Okay, I should be able to sustain this. It's not very high watts per kilo, but it's good raw power. Don't forget to hang about after the race. We're doing a Q&A, so stick around for that. Average cadence is probably around 75, 80. I'll answer the questions at the end. I'll try and hold on. Ah. Oh. 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 Ah. Oh. 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 Ah. Well, that's my tank empty. Really went for it there at the end. I mean, it was motivation. I was being chased, and I kind of rode my own pace a little bit, but I was still at my limit. My heart rate doesn't tell the full story because, you know, when you're into a training block and heart rate does sort of get a little bit sort of stale, you know, that's normal when you've got a bit of fatigue in you. Sometimes it doesn't really move unless you spend a considerable amount of time at a really high heart rate, and then it decides to open up. Sometimes you get that blocked feeling, you know, where you can't, or you feel like you've got bad legs, or, you know, you can't really get going. Sometimes you need like one big blast and then it opens you up. And I think but today is a good example of heart rate being a bit suppressed, which is normal. And, you know, I think I was just riding up the final climb there as best as I possibly could. But it looks like that front group did eventually split. And yeah, that top 10 is, or that top 8 rather, the 8 riders are in that front group, I think. They really did split. And I mean, you know, Cunningham was pulling virtually the whole 2 hours and averaging 350. I mean, when we tried to make a move, if you look at the power graph, I'll explain a little bit. When we tried to make a move to get across to it over here, in this section here, really speaking, I needed to be doing, you know, 350 at least, just to match, you know, the power output that was being put out at the front of that group. And you know, that's not possible because, as we showed the other night, hey, level 76. As we showed on Thursday night in that time trial, my best 20-minute power currently is only around 360. So, you know, add the fatigue in, and there's, you know, cycling can be a bit predictable sometimes, in a sense that, you know the numbers, and you know what you can do in a situation like that. So, and even though I was with that rider who cracked on and managed to finish there in front of us, of course the crux of that is he climbed better than me up this final climb. And if I was with him, he would have dropped me. Not aggressively, I don't think, not like actually attacked me. I think he just would have ridden me off the wheel. And of course, I've had to have ridden a lot, spent a lot of energy just to get to the bottom of that climb, just to be off the front with one rider and not catch the front group. So you've got to weigh it up sometimes, and, you know, whether it's worth being there, whether it's not. You know, I wasn't able to do maybe 5.5 to 6 watts per kilo on this final climb, whereas in peak shape, You know, I have done in the past. I've done over 6 to 6.5 watts per kilo. So it's you know, you've got to deal with it when you're not in shape. You know, and it's that time of year, technically. You know, you've just got to wait it out, and eventually it will come back round, of course. But you know, there's always a period of time where you're on the receiving end, or you're getting a bit of a kick in, and that's where we are a little bit at the minute. We're sort of in between. You know, every now and again we get like a good race, or we get like a good effort, or we get, you know, good result or whatever. But what happens generally when you're like I am now, I'm in the middle of the, you know, sort of not at the front and not in the group behind, you know, I'm in this middle ground. You have inconsistencies, and what you'll usually notice with the best riders is they're very consistent, you know, most of the time. So, you know, it's where I am now. My performances are quite inconsistent. How I feel is quite inconsistent, because that's generally what happens when you're building, and you know, you're doing races with, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, the guys in the front group there are, you know, high level individuals, you know, very, very strong riders. So yeah, I think if we play out the race differently and we were in the front group, you know, I think we still would have been in a very, very difficult position. You know, I'd have been riding, let's say, 4.5 watts per kilogram to be within that group. You know what I mean? And then that would have been spending matches, of course, and getting to the final climb. Then having something left, you know, I'd have had something even less to give. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. To be honest, personally, I love the longer ones. You know, I think, you know, they're hard in a different way. But hey, thanks for the ride on, Niels. I just called that. My racing score, I think it's 930. I think, I can't quite remember without looking on the app. Oh, 943. That's quite high, I'm assuming. But to be honest, I think that's just because of the Zwift World Series and the ZRL. Really speaking, I think, to be honest, I think that's a little bit too high. I don't think I'm worthy of that number. Oh, I can finally rest a bit. How are we doing for TSS? Did anybody notice what it was? Oh, quick check. 167. I thought it might have been higher than that, to be honest, but whoop. Nice spread of zones up there on the top. Primarily zone 1. If we're using the multiple 5 to 6 zone model, we've got very similar amount of time in zone 2, zone 3 and zone 4. Hey, thank you for the ride on. Charlie's just got back from the gym. Got to go for a food shop today. Hopefully we won't get blown away. Oh, it's always worth having a bit of a cool down after these races, because they're so intense. Have I experimented with different crank lengths? No. 172.5 is what I run. Always have done. I don't know if I'll change. Everyone's going to 165s, I think, aren't they? It's whether or not you can buy any. I think they're quite hard to get. Well, Dura-Race anyway. I mean, I suppose I could buy a 105. Might look a bit weird on mismatched components, but who cares? I haven't really looked, to be honest. I mean, it is all the rage. Trouble is, on my Factor, I can't change the saddle height much because of the external seat post. So it's not a conventional seat post. You just undo the bolt and you raise it up and down, and you've got lots of seat posts to play with. I've got virtually nothing to play with. Yeah, to be honest, I could see their value in time trialing or triathlons. It encourages quick leg turnover, so that could translate well to running afterwards. But also, like, climbing as well, I suppose. You know, you open up that angle. But again, you know, old school, we just used to slam our seat forward all the way, you know, to open the hip angle. So, you know, it's you can still somewhat achieve it without changing cranks. I remember Peak Talk YouTube channel, they had a discussion on one video about Poggy's position and being really far forward and short crank length, etc. People will say, when they see me out on the bike, my position is very similar. I tend to agree. I sit really far forward, but it's more like a natural, it's where I've naturally gone for 10 years, 15 years of riding. And, you know, you just kind of, and also I do feel like, I'm speaking probably to the younger riders, Josh is here, you know, you tend to emulate what the best riders do. And I know people can shit on it, you know, saying that like, you know, you shouldn't be doing what the pros do, etc. But, you know, when I was a junior rider, I used to emulate Contador's climbing style, and, you know, you kind of like, you know, you want to be like them sort of thing, but you also adopt it to what feels good for you. There is that, Tom, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, Niels, yeah, tilting your saddle downwards slightly. I mean, indoors, I had someone comment on my Instagram post yesterday, actually, about my indoor position. My indoor position is not very, you can't compare it to my outdoor position. There's different bikes to begin with, but like, I'm more over the front of this bike, so I'm more, you know, open. My saddle's tilted down slightly. It's all about comfort, really. You know, it's weird how, well, it's not weird, but you can make a story out of anything nowadays, you know, and certain things come and go, fashion, you know, and things like slamming your cleats all the way back on your shoes, you know, that's something we've done for 15 years plus, or something I've done 15 years plus, and like, it's just because it feels good. And then eventually you tweak it maybe slightly, and then you go for a bike fit and they tweak it a little bit, and eventually you come to somewhere that's kind of similar to what you started with, you know. Well, not similar, but yeah, you're talking things that you've nearly always done. Always comes back around full circle. I missed a question, did I? Oh, Lauren, I would love to start racing online. I'm already struggling with fatigue of one FTP session a week between Fat Max sessions. Can I swap the light FTP session for a Zwift race? Or will it slow down my progress? Tricky one. I mean, you know, you say that you'd love to start racing. Well, you've got a passion there, obviously. And there's something there that you actually want to do. I'd always say the best training plan is the one you can stick to. And if that means maybe once every 2 weeks, doesn't have to be every week, once every 2 weeks you sacrifice one of those sessions for a Zwift race, then I would say, you know, well, what's stopping you from trying that? You know, they're good fun, as you say. You know, you're interested in trying them. You know, also think about what type of race you do. You know, obviously if you do these long ones, or if you do a short, flat one, you know, you can. They don't have to be maximal efforts all the time, you know. Like Innsbruck Ring has got like a 1 minute climb every lap, so you know it's pretty chill other than the climb, you know. So there's different types of races that, you know, you're not always. Don't think that by putting in a Zwift race, and the Zwift race is going to be an hour long and it's going to be maximal effort for an hour. Like, choose your races wisely, you know, because sometimes doing a race that's max for an hour is going to be quite fatiguing, and over the long term you might not be able to recover from it as well, and that's another important thing, is being able to recover from it. Hey Ruben, you finally warmed down. Or have you done another lap? Yeah, I would agree with Niels. As you say, unless something has changed, you know, unless you've got an injury, maybe, you know, coming back from a serious injury, as you say, a new bike, or maybe, you know, you don't feel like, you know, you're comfortable, and maybe then is a good time. But important to do your research on it. You know, there's plenty of different bike fit variations out there. You know, I had one from the Varese Velo Studio with the Seller Italia setup, the ID match, which is really interesting, really eye-opening. To be honest, it didn't move me too far away from where my position was, again, for the last 10 years. And for 10 years, my position was done based on feel. It was never done based on, you know, a bike fit. So I've obviously got fairly close to what I felt was comfortable without the bike fit. But if you're new to the sport, it could be another good opportunity to have it, you know, because most bikes are sold as well with very wide handlebars, particularly females. Any females watching, like, you buy a bike, even if it's female specific, some of them can come with really wide handlebars, and that's one of the first steps that you have to amend, is getting a handlebar that's the right width for you. Just like saddles, it's a very particular thing. Oh, Catal, I mean, hunt wheels are pretty decent, right? I know lots of people locally have got hunt wheels. Are they deep? Are they deep section? Are they like 30mm and deeper, or? I was thinking of when we eventually move house. I was thinking of doing something with not a rocker plate, but maybe the tennis ball trick. I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Zeke. That's true. Good point. Yeah, good show there, Niels. 44s, yeah, they're a good depth, good in between depths. Probably slightly deeper than most people ride, but well, around here anyway. Obviously, I rode the black ink wheels, but you know, I can certainly vouch for them. I definitely feel a difference when I put the race wheels on compared to the training wheels. but I'm sure lots of you will anyway. You know, if you go from, you know, an aluminium set to a carbon set, plus, you know, tires as well make a massive difference. So that's another thing. Now then, have we got another 15 minutes left of us? Then we can do another 15 minutes. We'll round it up to 3 hours. Why not? Let's go up the volcano. Finish it off. That should while away about 10 minutes. And then we finish on a descent. Lovely. Ooh. Did you stick it out to the finish there, Alex? Yeah, we just had a conversation about shorter crank arms. I don't know if you missed it. Probably, if you're asking the question. Hey, cheers, Niels. Take care. Have a good Saturday. There's the ghost. Is that my ghost? My PR? For the last 90 days? Or 30 days? Oh, is it? No, it's not me, is it? I have to try and beat it now. Yeah, that's true. I've definitely beaten my ghost. I think he stopped. Yeah, Jack Burke. I mean, personally, I think it's a really good way of getting people to notice you. Essentially, it's the 21st century. How do you get your name out there? You do that. And I think what he's done, you know, he's been quite clever with the KOMs as well. Because those are KOMs that you know, the VAM is going to be really important on, because they're steep. Something like Sacalobra, for example, is not really a climb that people consider because it's so shallow. As a direct comparison, you know, to something I can relate to. To be honest, I never listened to his podcast. Sounds like he's got like friends in high places. Which I've learned certainly helps. So that's why I think a team will pick him up, actually, because he's got good connections, it seems. What does everybody else think? I'll bounce it back to the chat. Katal's asked about the KOMs Jack Burke has been taking. Curious to know, because a lot of people are on the fence about it, saying that, you know, a KOM is just a KOM and not really giving much credit, and then other people are obviously fully backing the guy. Hey, nice one, Fraser. You haven't just finished though. Yeah, I know his background. And his, well, the what do we think, speaking of being below world tour level, I don't know why this has just reminded me, but what do we think of Tom Pidcock going to Q36.5? Brat. Hey, Tom. Wait, less than 10 minutes to go. To be honest, I think Tom is probably, I don't know. I don't think Tom needs a huge salary from a team. I think he needs the team to give him the flexibility, and I think he'll get the extra quote-unquote salary from other brands. So, you know, Red Bull, you know, he's an Olympic world champion, you know, so he's going to have perks that other riders won't have, you know, not necessarily from a team, but from outside a team, as Perrin is saying there. So, you know, it's not necessarily, like, he may have weighed it up and thought, if I go to a smaller team, he can be front and centre of the team, as we are pretty sure he will be. But he'll also have the freedom, I think, as well. And what is it, a 3-year deal? I don't know if Pidcock lost a lot of fans during that Netflix series. I don't know if I was reading between the lines or what, but from what I gather, Cummings is a good guy. He's a nice guy. From the people who, like when I was racing, Cummings was a bit of an outlaw, but he was still regarded as quite a nice guy. But maybe he's not made for management, you know. So a bit like, did Alaphilippe have a big win bonus back in the day? Personally, I think win bonuses are quite good if they're used, correctly. But then again, you get some riders who don't want win bonuses. They just want big salaries. Anybody seen the chat that Bradley Wiggins has done recently with, or Sir Bradley Wiggins has done with High Performance? And I actually only just listened to it when he was on Armstrong's podcast 3 months ago. And he talks about Team Wiggins, how much money that was taken, if it was true. No, you're probably right there, Tom. Oh, this has worked out quite well. We're going to get down the descent and that'll be it. Lovely. Oh, I'm hungry now. 12:30. Whew. Ready for a big portion of pasta. What's everyone up to today then? You're biased then, Tom. If you're from near Leeds. I mean, I dislike Tom Pidcock with a passion because of Sac Lubber. I'm joking, obviously. Oh. Another 3 hours on the train. How long have you done on the trainer, Josh? Don't tell me 3 hours already. Don't tell me you're doing 6 hours on the trainer. Oh, 1. There we go. It's not so bad. 4 hours. 4 hours isn't so bad. Yeah, here she has, isn't he? But he went through a bit of a phase, didn't he? A couple of years ago, where he virtually did nothing. Ah, nice, Tom. You did 5 in the summer. What? 5 hours on the indoor trainer in the summer? Yeah, not when it was nice weather outside. Hey, I know some folks who live locally here, right? We've had some nice days in the summer, and they were riding on their turbo outside, in their garden, in the summer, because they had a specific session to do for like 4 hours, rather than going out on the road. Not judging, just saying, not judging. I couldn't do that. Thoughts on ketones? Have I tried them? Actually, I have. And it was horrible. What are they called? The Ketone IQ? Those little bottles. I had 3 gifted to me. Not from the company, from somebody. And I tried them. And I was told that they were the bomb. But to be honest, I didn't really feel any different. But I don't know. Is it placebo? I think you need to delve into a lot more than me just taking 3 of them on the off chance of thinking that something might happen. Well, it's called your brakes, Tom. Just do what we used to do back in the day. Pull your brakes as you're going downhill and keep pedaling. Old school. You go through your brakes though, but it's called erg mode. I'm not even joking. In fact, still do that sometimes. If I know the descent is pretty, like, technical, but like quite a wide road, so I can keep pedaling. No, that's true. Yeah, you can't pick your cadence. Here we go. Coming up to 3 hours. Just gonna make it to the bottom, I think. Heart rate's come down nice. Stop sweating. Yeah. I know, it's just, I guess I can't really measure it, can I? Unless I do like some kind of lab science experiment. I can't really tell. You know, I would rather just eat more and listen to my body. I didn't see any difference when I did it, but like I said, if I did it, I would probably have to do it properly and utilize some proper testing to see if it does work for me, because I think it works for some people, it doesn't work for others, is what I can gather. Here we go, 15 seconds. Oh my word. Oh, it's the longest one we've done for a while, and the hardest one, I think. Whew. Well, thanks for your company. Thanks for the chat at the end. Makes time fly. So I appreciate it. You want me to use my power up? I'll use it just as I'm coming to a stop. There we go. Wonderful. Alright. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. It's been wonderful racing and pushing myself a bit on this wonderful Saturday. I will see you in a couple of days' time for another live stream. Take care.